off your background noise.
It's already recording.
All right, good.
We need a minute.
We ain't got a minute.
Here, I gotta clean my penis. This is
All right.
Oh, God damn.
Andy's got to clean his penis.
I just wanted to put water in my nose. Different reasons.
All right. We just finished Wausau.
Greater Wausau, not
Wausau adjacent. It was a Wausau, Wisconsin, where all the greats play. But we had to play a sub-community. I don't know what we just did.
We just did an old western town set. It looked like a downtown Deadwood.
My God, we couldn't sell out Wausau. I shouldn't say we on this.
Yeah, because when I announced I'm going to be there, tickets didn't move at all.
Andy Andrist, Ggreg Chaille, myself in Wausau adjacent because we're not staying in the same suburb of Wausau. We're in a different one. Tracy is doing the bartending.
But wait, where's my drink?
We'll get to Bert Kreischer eventually.
Oh,
But,
is this your tease?
Yeah, this is a tease. How about that?
Professional.
But let's get through tonight because I sucked.
notes.
For the first time, this is the first day of the second week of this tour, and for the first time, I felt good during the day. I was writing shit. I just kept writing stuff. I'm like, hey, I feel great. What are we doing? Because I should be doing something. And Chaille's saying, just relax. I'm like, no, for the first time, I feel productive. I don't know why.
You're me and I'm you. I'm like, chill, man.
Chill, lay back. No, I
But okay.
Oh, fuck. I just realized what I should have been doing for the book. One last thing for the book I didn't do. But anyway.
But we had a night off. We didn't have a very
First
long
night
drive.
off.
And then we had a short drive today. And you did a lot of riding last night. You were sitting out on that porch.
Yeah, I didn't even get to that. I was writing more shit.
So, I mean, you had a very it was relaxing.
All right. Let's go to the show. We go to the show in Wausau, where I've never played before. Not like and it's a very weird venue. Not a bad venue, but a weird venue. Like, to get to the stage, you walk down 3 floors through the audience.
It looked like a hamster habitat from above. Like
habit trail.
Yeah,
a habit trail is a perfect way through the audience. Like you're fucking. I was going to say the name of the fight we're not promoting, but like you're a boxer who has to have all sorts of ups and downs and through the audience. It's weird.
Yeah.
Andy has a great set.
Yeah, really good. I mean, we'll have to review it.
I was fucking around
replay.
with the opener, and I spent way too much time thinking about how to try to make the opener have fun. I don't think the audience was going to be that great anyway. I still don't think they were great.
It felt like that opener who was taping his short.
He was trying to get a 5-minute set on tape, and I go, "I'll help you."
You were acting like you were his uncle and going, "Now listen, everyone."
But you queered it by destroying. You told the audience to react in a way that was unnatural, and then that skewed the whole curve. Because then I got up there and I still felt like they were giving too much. I'm like, no, come on.
You were collateral damage.
Yeah. Listen, this isn't that funny, but yeah, anyway. You did pipe him up pretty good. So
there were people who I felt originally, like from the beginning, that I was being pompous to a point where, like if it was a Doug Stanhope audience, which they had to be on some level. We'll get to. I know you have a story about this, but I told you to shut your fucking mouth until we're taping.
Yeah, we all had to.
You know when you're being over the top, I'm a douchebag.
Oh, we're very aware of that.
You feel like, I'm Dustin Diamond. You're lucky to have me. I felt
You're
like
welcome, Duluth. Or whoever.
Wausau.
Yeah, Warser. I was not being a douche, but I would refuse to even try to pronounce the name of the town.
Do we go with
Doesn't matter.
Andy's story first or Chaille's story? Andy first. While I'm on stage, failing because I'm trying to force a long bit up front that I wrote that was funny during the day, and you go, I wrote this during the day expecting an audience that's not here.
So I did kind of an impromptu meet and greet. And
After you get off stage.
Yeah, and emphasis on the meet. But there's a lady in the lobby who wanted a cigarette and then attached herself to me. And I don't think she said she didn't like me very much, but she wanted to see
That's how she introduced you?
something like that, and she just kept
to be
spilling.
a little bit more specific.
Well, she just kept. Tracy was there, but she just kept spilling drinks and making sort of like creepy old lady sweet talk about wanting to see my penis or whatever.
How old?
How old?
Go ahead.
Probably my age, but she, I look like it was this, it's like I'm a pickle. She's 40, probably.
I'm a pickle.
But I mean, the winters are hard on people out of here, so it's kind of. She was anywhere from 42 to 60 something.
I'm going middle of that.
50, yeah.
Tracy bets the middles.
Yeah.
It was hard to judge, but she was a little sketchy.
Well,
so
I heard she was.
I go on the older.
I heard she was like Fight Club.
Yeah.
I have opioids. I have uppers. I have downers.
Yeah. Let's go. Where are we going to do them or whatever? And then we kind of settled on she just wanted to see my dick, and so I went to the bathroom and I came out. And Chaille's been telling me to look out for cameras, but I just wanted to get it over with, so I pulled my dick out, and then she wasn't even looking, and I was like, "Oh, there's a camera right there." So I basically trying to get myself rebooked. Splaying my dick out, and then she didn't believe it, or whatever. But anyway, she was like sitting there.
Falated?
My dick
I'm
shows.
trying to read your notes.
My dick shows
doesn't have
better
notes.
in mid range because there's no disappointment.
Did she put
It's
her
like, is that all
readers
there
on?
is?
Did she put her bifocals on?
Yeah, there were 3.0s. She cheaters.
3.0.
And I go, good, I got to put my cheaters on too. And that's just a sleep mask. So I helped her boyfriend walk her out to the car after she fell under the bench.
Go ahead.
And
Keep talking.
well, I don't want to brag or nothing. But we walked her out to the
haven't
car, and then she's in. He said she's my designated driver, and I said I know that is. So I got a couple.
Wait,
of
hang on.
Fight Club was the driver.
What happened?
No, well, he goes, that's my designated driver, and I go, plan B maybe or whatever. But we did put her in the passenger side for legal reasons. I will say that. And she goes, I still want to see your dick.
You got to back up for a second. I was just moving a couch over to this little table so I could sit because I tried to stand in the aborted podcast we abandoned earlier. So now I'm sitting. I missed Fight Club.
Well,
Chaille, explain.
Yeah.
Well, no, he went out to the car, but then
Who's the dude?
the dude was her boyfriend. So Andy and the
We both
boyfriend
arm in arm like a Civil War injury.
Wait, this woman
we're both-
blew you in a car as he walked?
No.
She blew me standing outside of the car. She was sitting in the car. I just was fulfilling an obligation to show my dick to her that I did misfired in the club.
All right. For ego purposes, how long did they wait for my set to not fulfill them before she came out to blow you? I paid $35. I'm getting something. I'm sucking the fucking other guy's dick.
Well, and I don't even think she knew I was with the show. To be honest, I don't think there was
no entry into the conversation like that. It was
it was pure and simple cock greed. Like the ladies out here when they're not even hungry, but they're at a mini mart and they see cheese curds. It was like that. It was like, oh, I need something. And he goes, I'm one of her boyfriends or what. Like she's a hot commodity here. Of course, it's Wausau. Wausau, they call her Wausau the Wausau Cannonball.
What was it? What was her name?
Fuck. Yeah, Debbie. Let's just say Debbie for sake of, yeah. And I didn't, I was showing her my penis, but she was like, it was very vacuumish, where it said I put it close to her and she took to it like a bass on a worm or whatever. And the first one was, and then I pulled back, and then she did a better one. It was like that. If she led with that one, I'd probably still be with her. The second one was slow and passionate, and then the third one was again a suckling like a choking victim who just got air. So, and that's where I said goodnight.
Middle acts have all the fun.
Oh, tonight I was headlining. Yeah, it was completely platonic and passionless, like a marital
It's
one.
really like more of a medical check.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was pretty clinical, except for being
Yeah.
outside in front of a camera.
Yeah, that part. But hey, I haven't updated my headshots for a while, so I got a new headshot video.
We are at the
Horror. Kevin.
first night of the second week of I say a month long, whatever. It's 21 days and basically a month. Don't Chaille's looking for math.
No,
Point being, we did a week. We did Champaign, Illinois, DeKalb, Madison, something, and
Rochester.
Another,
and Duluth. Then we had a night off, and then we started tonight. This is where it starts. We'll go back to a recap, but the whole tour, we have been Bert casting. The Bert Kreischer podcast, we've been binging. The one that was, I'm doing a 6-hour podcast, and here's a 17-minute intro with me and my wife, and we talk about Blue Apron. You fucking bitch about my Blue Apron fucking spots.
He and Leanne are passionate about Blue
know.
Apron. I mean, we like it. I mean, I cook it.
I couldn't even promote the blowjob I got earlier. Yeah, I mean, if you're desperately out of them.
But it's a 5.5-hour podcast, less the 17 minutes of him. I'm fucking with you, Bert. He sets up his podcast. On this podcast, this is what happens. And a lot of times he just gives away the plot. You were sleeping today or editing when he set up the whole podcast, and he goes, and this guy, he's the best storyteller ever. Everyone's the ultimate best. And he's like, during the live podcast he's putting out, he's already told you everything he's saying to the guy. You know how I always say on the podcast, I probably told this story before. He sets up the story with the story. On this podcast, I go, hey, if this... All right, I'm fucking with you too much, Bert.
If this was a podcast, we're going to be positive.
I mean, we've had some mega like drives, and we've had and his podcast's not over yet. And then we get back in the car the next day and finish it.
Yeah.
We're doing a month of Bert casting.
Yeah.
Because what I love about the Bert cast, I'll be honest, he mentions my name in every single podcast, and that's a way to rope a listener.
And then he mentions my name, but he calls me James Inman.
We'll get to that. Don't even. Don't edit. Fucking Inman will fall for if we ever get to that plan. But you're off topic. He mentions Stanhope. That was funny because the first couple of gigs, we have long drives, and every time he said Stanhope, Chaille would say drink, and then everyone in the van says drink when he says, well, like Stanhope, he drink. And it got to the point that as much as it fulfills my ego, it got embarrassing. Like because I want to listen to Bertcasts.
Got me drunk,
and I don't want you to
were
think,
driving. So.
I don't want people to think, oh, I just want them to mention my name more. Like I'm playing this for you, which I would do if there was a chick and I go, oh, we're on a long drive. I go, you like podcasts? Let's put in any random Bert Kreischer podcast, and then I'd act surprised when he mentioned my name. Oh, that's me.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, that Bert Kreischer.
I didn't know you were famous. I thought you were just cruising the bus station. So, at one point early on in our Bertcast trek, after so many times of drink, he said, you know the great thing about Stanhope? He surrounds himself with the coolest people ever. And Chaille goes, fuck, drink, chug. He's like, finally, you guys got recognized. It was funny. And that was 2 days in. And then we did this 5.5 hour Danish and O'Neill. And that lasted 3 days. And
the first one was the Joey Coco Diaz.
Joey Coco Diaz.
Over 3 hours.
All right, this is where this starts. Because we're going to start a thing.
Oh, you're going to do that? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to start a thing.
Well, you've already done it.
The first one we listened to, because I don't know how to do podcasts. Chaille does. So I go, I want to listen to Bert. And he's like swiping through. I've listened to Bert before, right before he came on the Swapcast in Bisbee.
Yeah.
Listened to a few. Loved that he always mentioned my name somehow. And I like it. But this one I go, oh, Joey Diaz. Everyone loves Joey Diaz on a podcast. So I go, let's listen to that. Well, the first drink was like, yeah, well, I don't do shit like that. Like Dougie Stanhope, his publicist called me to get him on my podcast to promote a show. And that's where my soul sunk like a hernia going through your balls. Going, a publicist called Joey Diaz without my knowledge. Like, if I needed to do a podcast to promote something, my friends, like Stern, I'm afraid of. I'm afraid they're going to say we don't like him anymore for fucking a dozen years or more. But I'd have a publicist call them so I wouldn't know. But Joey Diaz or like fucking Rogan, no, I'll call you. Go, hey, can I do your podcast? And you say no. And he goes, no, a publicist called me. And they want Dougie Stanhope to promote probably the book or something, or the fucking CISO
I think
that's
it was
now
the
defunct.
comedians or something.
Whatever it was, the idea that he would think I wouldn't call him. First of all, I don't know that Joey Diaz actually has a podcast.
Yeah,
boy, I know he does, but I know he does periscopes and shit. I don't know if he stays up with any of this shit. So, but I would call him directly.
If you wanted to be on his podcast.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call him directly. What I would do is I would say it on my podcast. Hey, I have a book or something coming out. Tweet Joey Diaz and tell him to listen to the 1 hour 3 minute mark of my podcast. And then if he responds, tweet me that at the 51-minute mark of his podcast and send me a link, and I'll go, why does Dougie Stanhope have to talk about this on a podcast? You know why? Because we don't. Fucking Kreischer mentions my name in every one of his podcasts, but he never answers my calls. So what I'm going to start now is pod calling. So right now, actually go back however long this conversation started and tweet Bert Kreischer that at some point we're talking about him. And then I'm going to wait because now I'm addicted to his podcast. And then when he responds on his podcast, at the 4 hour and 31 minutes in.
Yeah, please be accurate.
Yes, give me and then we'll even Rogan and I talk about every 3 months, and he says he wants to come to Bisbee, and I say we should tour together, like it's just stuff. But it's easier to talk via podcast. Rogan was the first guy that started texting after he said texting was dumb, and then started mocking me for texting. And I don't want to text because I have fumbly, booze shake thumbs.
You can do it by voice.
We're going to do it by podcast.
Oh, yeah.
All the podcasters out there that are friends, hey, drop me a line on your live podcast, and I will respond on my podcast via listeners.
Yeah, once the listeners, hey, Rogan asked you to be on his podcast. When are you going to be in town, Doug? That would be the.
That's how I met. I haven't met him in person yet, but Dean Ween from Ween.
Yeah,
I got an email from him, but I also got a bunch of tweets from people saying, "Hey, Dean Ween from Ween is talking about you on Facebook. He wants to meet you." Well, you know what? This is a good way to talk to my.
Here, let me try it. Hey, Bert, I'll bring a fat joint we can smoke together in Denver. All right, direct message.
I already explained to people to go back to where we start pod calling.
I thought you said pot calling.
It's like smoke signals or beating drums.
Let me go back
Beating the
to
drums.
what fucking Joey Diaz said on the first Bertcast we listened to on this. He's like, "Yeah, the publicist called, and he's Dougie Stanhope wants to be on your fucking show, and but I they said he shows up with a bunch of people, and I know they're all like fucking hippies and shit." And the only thing I could think was when we do, because he went into a long thing about when he does Joe Rogan's podcast, I want to bring him a pack of cigarettes because I know Joe hates cigarettes, and I love to watch Joe's face every time he hears the fucking lighter click. You see? Oh,
Joe snaps his head.
Yeah, he snaps his head. He fucking hates it. I love it. But he shows up with like 4 hippies. Hennigan loves to come along.
Hennigan's the only one who goes along with it.
He's a hippie. He goes to Burning Man.
He is a hippie.
He's a fucking hippie.
One time,
you go to Burning Man, you're a hippie.
Yeah.
One time, well, Joey Diaz gets every fact wrong, but it's usually when he's talking about me, it's in my favor. If I fucked 2 girls in a week, I fucked 40 whores at one time. So I like that. I like his. But several times when I've done Rogan's podcast, like one time it was you and Bingo.
That was at the Ice House. That
was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then other times it's me and Hennigan, or maybe me and Bingo and Hennigan, and Bingo might be the hippie, or there's no hippie at all. I don't know. He shows up with 40 hippies. He brings his own personal Burning Man.
Well, you are on the cover of High Time magazine.
Yeah, that's kind of hippie.
That's fucking way hippie.
Yeah.
He opens for fish.
Point being, Joey Coco Diaz, if I need to do your podcast, and I would love to, I would pod call you directly.
No hippies.
Who else? Danish and O'Neill. That was the 5.5 hour Bert Kreischer.
That was they started it. I think it was 9 o'clock. They announced it.
Where did we drive at the beginning to where it was?
That was the long one. Mm-hmm. I want to look at my notes. Doug will yell again.
Where were we?
Weren't we driving? That was one of the long drives. I think that was DeKalb to Madison. So I think that's where we started the Danish.
And then we had 20 minutes. And
we had
drove
3
around.
gigs, but this is the great thing. The Bertcast has always ended within minutes of us hitting our gig.
Yeah. Yeah, he wraps up when we see a Goodwill or Subway.
It's been perfect. So we're going to start. We started Swapcast, which is only working with Bert and like two other.
There's a couple. I forget to write it down when I hear it.
I looked it up. It's not even on fucking Urban Dictionary, the Swapcast. But I don't understand the business of this.
I think I would be more proud if it was in Wikipedia.
Well, you start with Urban Dictionary, and you earn your open mic bones of the internet. I don't know.
We could actually submit it to Wikipedia.
Rogan actually called me, and this is the other idea I have to pitch. And
wait, on a phone or a podcast?
Yeah, no, it was after that fucking. We were doing that Swapcast, the mobile green room.
Yeah, no.
And I think it was Madison. And the other idea that I have, No Refunds, my album, is one of my most popular albums, if you want to call it that.
Oh, where do you get it?
Yeah, where do you get it? Well,
Amazon?
They stopped producing it, and I had a shit deal on it. I get fucked, oh my God. And anyone who's worked for them and is not currently will tell you. Can't get it. Discontinued. Well, how about that? Just fucking sell it back to me.
Get your catalog back.
All right, so here's my idea. It's not a new thing for artists to get fucked by a label and not be able to get that back.
They learned that from the music industry.
Yeah, but this is a fucking shard of brilliance from what's left of my brain. By the same way that musicians can't get their shit back, proprietary rights, comics can't get copyright
on a joke.
Can't get copywritten on a joke. So what happens is, what if I take No Refunds and redo it myself? And instead of saying, I say, oh, just like do-do-do-do-do-do-doop, Vanilla Ice and fucking David Bowie. Well, you can't copyright comedy. Well, then I'm just going to do the exact same album in the exact same outfit, 10 years older.
Repackage.
And if you sue me, then you set precedent for all other comics having copyright, proprietary, etc., etc. And the only problem with that is having to do a 10-year-old album and act like those stories are relevant today.
Like put some fire behind something that's been out there for 10 years.
So my other idea, Bert, Joe, anyone, Burr, I don't know who has an early album that they got fucked by the commission, the recording company, whoever owns this shit, the label.
Whoever produced it usually has rights.
That would be more fun. I've always talked about doing Andy Andrist's Greatest Hits by Doug Stanhope, because Andy is the funniest guy but fucks up his bits every night, yet adds 10 new tags to an old bit.
Doug Stanhope does Andy Andrist?
Well, that's private.
That can hit a lot of shelves. You can walk him to your car, Andy.
Yeah.
Problem is, no one's scrambling for your album.
Well, once the eclipse gets closer, I think people will be heading to the local library or Walgreens to get Andy Andrist, dumb it down for the masses.
All right, let's take a break, and we will be back after these messages.
I listened to an episode of Behind the Podcast with Bill Burr, and he says what he does is he picks up a mic, he hits record, and then he talks for an hour and then hits send, and it's out.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you seem to have all these gadgets like chords, paperwork,
okay,
levels.
Yep.
But you know what, Bill Burr, He doesn't need to have paperwork for you know what Bill Burr doesn't have to do? He doesn't have to eat at a fucking Coney stand unless he acts like, I like to get the fucking, the flavor for the fucking Michigan scene where I'm eating, a Coney dog used to be good. Remember, Chaille, when you had something that you thought you really enjoyed and then you eat it again, like when you were a kid and you had peanut butter and jelly, but you had thick layers of peanut butter and you go, oh, this is disgusting. I can't imagine how you used to eat it. And on this tour, we're binging on the Bert Cast, Bert Kreischer's podcast, who is also sponsored by BlueApron.com. And listen, we love Blue Apron, but when you hear Bert Kreischer talk about Blue Apron with his wife, Leanne, you would think that's his YouPorn of food. And at first you go, this is a little bit overbearing until you ate too many Coney dogs because you booked too many fucking dates in Michigan. And you're like, they put mustard on a Coney dog the same way you would put cheese on nachos. Like, no, a thin line of mustard. And then you go, oh, that Blue Apron. He keeps talking about it. And the more he talks about it, I miss home and an actual beautifully cooked, healthy, nice,
affordable.
Well, a Coney dog is not really robbing the
really?
bank.
Really? You had that Coney dog and they decided how much mustard to put on it. So you had to order another one and then you ended up canceling it.
You're right.
So it would have been over $10.
I didn't want to be a dick and return
so if you would have
$4.50 Coney dog.
If you would have gotten the meal you wanted, made the way you wanted it with a chef in the back who has no idea who you are or what you want, that would have been over $10 for the meal.
Well, this is what brought this up. I thought, because we've eaten so many shitty meals on the road, and I know it's a staple of comics saying, on the road it's hard to eat well, which is usually an excuse, but at the same time, it's not. It's hard to eat well and eat what you know is good. And we were talking about, wouldn't it be funny if we could get Blue Apron to send meals that I could just bring into a shitty restaurant and go, listen, what you're doing, I ate here yesterday. It's not good. So here's Blue Apron. You got a kitchen. Cook this up. It's easy directions and you won't feed that stuffing into my head that I have to swallow because I only have hours before I have to drink and do a show.
Look here. We can actually do real grill marks. You don't have to be back there painting them on with the fingernail polish.
Chickenish breast.
Chickenish breast. Actually, that's the beauty of Blue Apron, Doug. On the last run of the tour, I actually stopped Blue Apron altogether because you can stop and start as you want. You go to the website and you can pick the meals you want.
It's like a local opener has to shut off. I'm no longer at that address. That was my cousin's couch for a week. Yeah, just send it to this P.O. box.
But what
you get Blue Apron at a P.O. box? I don't know. Might be a little drunk.
They ship everywhere.
All right.
But what I did this time, since we were going to be on the road, I decided to send a couple of the meals to Denise, who's running the merch store back in Bisbee. So she's been getting the boxes and she's been cooking them while we've been gone.
And you can't get them sent to a lot of hotels. We found out. Hey, can you send that ahead to a hotel we're not checked into yet so we can bring it to a restaurant I know stinks that's next door, but it's now closed. Sorry, we're just in a fucking
we're in
place
Flint
right now.
They'll even deliver to Flint. They need it. Talk about a food desert.
The one thing asterisk, Blue Apron does not ship bottled water with the meal. So Flint, just take what you can get with the meal. Water, that's on you.
They do send everything you need to make the meal except the water, and easy to follow directions with pictures, and you can make the meals in 40 minutes or less.
My God, I just miss. You can't make it all in a microwave, which at best on the road you could get a microwave, but you could probably do it. I'm doing Naked and Afraid in my head, thinking of Blue Apron. Like, oh, we could do it in a microwave. We could burn it on top of the hood of the car. If we leave the car running long enough, we can make Blue Apron. They have all the packets of spices and the things to mix it with. You just put it all in the carburetor. But I'm an old dude. Maybe they don't have carburetors anymore, especially with the cooking oil.
Well, we do have we have a coffee machine, and we've got a microwave and a refrigerator.
You can make everything in a Blue Apron meal in a Ggreg K-cup. That's the truth. And if I'm wrong, sue me and take away my sponsorship.
Well, actually, Blue Apron does have a freshness guarantee. When that box gets to your door every week, every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they will make it right.
Ready to cook in a K-cup, I say drunk hanging off a bed. But I guarantee you Blue Apron is available in a K-cup, and it's like that movie where they Repo Man and they just have food in a can, and it says food. All right, this is not really right.
You're sort of right in that it's easy, and it comes with step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card and pre-portioned ingredients, and can be prepared in 40 minutes or less in a kitchen.
You know what? K-cups can be made
Stop with
in
the
less
K-cups.
than 4. Well, I think Blue Apron comes in a K-cup.
No, it comes in a box.
Oh, the box.
The box.
That's right.
It's not a K-cup.
Box.
Yes.
Well, all right. I pack light.
Hey, here's what we're going to miss because we're going to still be on tour, but Denise is going to get it because she gets to do the Blue Apron back in Bisbee while we're gone. Next week, she's got vegetable lo mein with eggplant and bok choy, fried eggs and French green lentils with tomatoes and mustard dressing. And then I picked another one for the spicy Korean chicken bao with green bean and tomato salad.
Didi bao.
Delicious.
Oh, hey, Blue Apron, can you send our merch gal, Coney, which is, it's, pig entrails, with too much mustard, squeeze nacho cheese. Like they go, you want cheese on your Coney? And I go, yeah. And they do that pump cheese from the ballpark.
Oh, the napalm, like,
can you send that? Send that to her and go, April Fools. Hey, it's Blue Apron April Fools. I sent you the most disgusting thing that Michigan is proud of when we're craving a Blue Apron. And all we get is pig entrails with fake squeezy cheese.
I don't think they're going to do that. But I can switch it so we can send her for next week's meal, the cornmeal crusted shrimp po' boy with tomato and cucumber salad. That's as close as we can get to, Michigan's finest Coney dog, which is just, no, they don't do Coney dogs, Doug.
I know.
You don't either.
Listen, Blue Apron, Bert Kreischer, if I die out here in the killing fields of Coney dogs and shitty gigs, I will you my Blue Aprons so you can double down and get as fat as Tom Segura. Hey, check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Stanhope. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. Tomorrow never comes. Act now. Act fast. That's blueapron.com/Stanhope. Blue Apron. It's a better way to cook.
Hey, we're back.
Bert, if any comic out there, this is the Doug talks to Bert Kreischer. That's the title of this And we'll start pod calling by that.
An open letter to Bert
I
Kreischer.
I talk to Bert Kreischer, not about him. I'm talking to you, Bert. You just haven't answered yet on your podcast calling me back. So listen, Bert, listen. If you had an album where you didn't have the rights and they're fucking you over, and I still have to buy that fucking thing for $8 a DVD, even though no one buys DVDs, but I want to sell them after shows. Well, how about we do each other's, which is funny. You have to do no refunds, memorize it, do it poorly. I do yours as best I can, and then we sell those just to set precedent. Either you sue us and set legal precedent where comedy can be copywritten, or they shut the fuck up and beat feet. Because it's a fucking phenomenal idea.
Then you could do another album of Bert's rendition of your album, No Refunds.
And then we can do my original idea that's fucking a decade old of doing That Nigger Is Crazy, where I do a compilation of all the bits of comedians that are either comedy police or known hacks. But either way, just to set precedent where you can't do this. You can't do this. No. Yeah, I just did. So someone please stop me from just blatantly stealing fucking jokes. Well, he said, instead of, between the exact same bits. And that way, you burn the old people that used to matter and don't matter none no more.
Great White Stanhope should be remade.
Oh, my God, that should be burned.
Remade.
I'd sue on that one.
You'd sue yourself?
No, you cannot do that. It was terrible. I was too young. They took it. It's like child porn. My first album, The Great White Stanhope, is like Tracy Lord's porn, where you can't even own it. He was
we didn't know.
Too young in his career. He was taken advantage of.
Or the Andy Andrist beta tapes, buried in Florida.
All right. Well, there we started. Bullet point where I said Joey Diaz. It's too late now. You'd have to rewind. All right. Let's get back to tonight. All right. Yeah, we're gonna start pod dialing. Comics that are friends that never talk to each other because you don't know what to say. It's so much easier to get drunk and say hello on a podcast. So here's a pod dial for Bert Kreischer.
Oh, yeah, pod dial. I think you coined it.
Yeah, well, like Swapcast. Hey, pod dial at Bill Burr. Thanks for retweeting that thing that I said about the fucking, I don't even know what you call it. It doesn't have a 9/11 yet, but yesterday's...
the Virginia?
Yeah. Charlottesville, Virginia, fucking...
Or as the racists call
rally.
it, the Dodge Charger that actually spun out of control for a minute.
You did give that guy a good joke.
We worked on it together. It's a long story. Anyway, all right, back to tonight.
So you were on stage and
Wausau.
Raider.
By the way, I'm smoking. We rented the suite just to podcast in the Stoney Creek. Let's give them a plug.
This is nice.
The Stoney Creek in Wausau adjacent. And I looked it up because we were going to podcast in this shithole last night, and there was no chairs, really. They had a lot of beds. Long story. But
they did.
Yeah, we had 6 beds.
Like a I don't know what it would be. It's like a single twin bed in the corner away from like a regular room.
It was a motor-in halfway here where like construction guys that are
road
on
crew,
the lam.
flop house.
That single bed in the corner looked more like a hostage quarters rather than just a child. But it was like,
plastic
like
sheets,
2 full beds, and then a thing shoved into the corner for whoever you have latched up in the car.
It was perfect for what we needed, and we sought it out and came up lucky.
Yeah.
But what was my point?
The suite. You got the suite tonight.
Oh, we got the suite. Yeah, just for. This is so good if you're a smoker. They didn't make me initial
any
tomorrow
box. At checkout. So right now it's good.
No, I didn't have to initial the box. I'm sorry. I've never had a credit card where you had to check into a hotel, but what they do.
Yeah, no, I've been asked to leave hotels when I've had credit cards, like immediately.
No, when you were smoking your fucking skunk weed.
Yeah, cool. You hang out with hippies, so you got to expect some of that.
Well, hold on a second. Have we told that story?
I don't think we have.
All right, go ahead.
I toured with Bert Erickson.
Yeah,
we were
you and Erickson tried
Idaho
to do your
Falls.
alone tour.
We had a long trip. We got to a hotel. We checked in. I went out to go smoke pot because I have glaucoma or whatever. It hurts. Long drives and the squint from the road. So I walked out, and Erickson was napping. He just dozed off for the first 15 minutes in the hotel. I was like, walk out. I walk by this black guy who's walking a couple guests down the hall, and then when I come back, he's walking out of the room. He was in the room with Erickson, the manager.
Manager, like day manager? So,
and then I was like, and then he's like sniffing me, Like, I don't like that. I don't know what race you are, but please don't heavy sniff me when I'm walking. And so the phone rings, and then it's a lady. She says, you have to leave the hotel, the manager said, and you're going to have to pay $250, and he doesn't want to meet you. Doesn't want to talk to you about it. So
I so want Bret Erickson's side of the story.
No, it's exactly.
So far, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, and so,
well, I mean, okay, we do have to back up. Andy doesn't drive. Erickson gets to the hotel after driving from the gig, and he just wants to crash out and take a nap.
Andy will not smoke pot.
I know.
Andy, can you just...
Well, when it's medicine, like if you...
But not when it's in a state where it's illegal. And the first day you go... And then you would take a walk, but then that night you would just start smoking in the van.
That's the thing, is Andy...
Forgets because he's high?
He left, right? And Doug, we've had this before. Like, you go outside to smoke. But if you come in after going outside to smoke cigarettes, and you stand in the room and someone knocks on the door and then the door opens and that rush of air, they'd go, who's smoking in this room? Because your jacket has the smoke.
Yeah, and in fact, the guy came from, he let himself into the room while Erickson was napping.
Yes.
And sniffs the room, and he doesn't smell any pot, but then he walks by me coming back from the car, of course.
And that air wash.
And I smell like weed. So basically, like, I did your laundry, and your pants gave off an offensive smell, and it would be like, hey, man, you can't come into the hotel because I smelled your pants, and he didn't want to talk about it.
Well, we've talked about this with putting rotten fish in rental cars so that they can't go, oh, you broke the smoking policy. Well, you couldn't smell that over the hint of rotten fish in fucking summer in Louisiana. There's no way you could have smelled that.
Did I drop a trout? I'm so sorry.
So
we got...
So what happened was Erickson was asleep. Mm-hmm. He was awakened by the manager, and the manager asked to come in, and Erickson goes, sure, come in. No one's smoking in here, because no one was. And that's Erickson's side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. Then Andy comes in.
I was just kind of went out to the car because it was Idaho Falls, and I respect them.
Because you have to.
Yeah. So then we got the thing, and the guy didn't want to talk to us, and then he finally did, and it was like Bad Santa. We're in the office with him, and he's like, and then he finally dropped the $250 thing, and Brett goes, "Good, that's all I wanted," and he left, and then I just stared at him.
This is at night.
Like 11:30, 12 o'clock check-in time, or
Wait,
it was early afternoon.
Just checked in and started smoking weed.
That's when the glaucoma gets to its worst.
It was our time. They were west of us, and it was about 4 o'clock our time.
420, close to.
Point being,
Turns out.
you get thrown out of a hotel in the same daylight that you checked in.
About 20 minutes after we checked in.
I thought it was way less worse. I thought you got thrown out at night.
No.
You got thrown out immediately.
Yeah.
I see. I got it all wrong.
And then
I thought you were not as bad as you sound now. And
not as bad.
As much as Brett might back you up on that story, we've been on the road for 8 or 9 days, and one day you say, Andy, and then you just fucking reek up everything. You were smoking weed where you could see the trail of it.
As
going
Ricky
to
Williams says, I prefer to say using cannabis for medical purposes. Okay.
Last night in that Flophouse motel, you moved... For some reason, you moved a heavy, like you had a park bench that was made out of steel in front of your thing with a butt can right beside every
like
place
Sling Blade,
had a butt can. And that the owner lady that ran it, she reminded me of my mother so much.
Yeah.
We pull in, it's like 15 rooms in a motor lodge, motel, motor inn full of people that live there. But they had rooms 4 and 5 open for us.
I think those are the only 2 ever available.
Well, at some point, Andy goes out, and I hear him dragging the metal.
It's a wrought iron, like park bench type thing that you would get at Lowe's.
And everyone is taking turns in front of their rooms sitting in them because they're all these sloppy social service kind of people that live in weekly rental motels.
Weekly rate, yeah.
They all know each other, and they just go out, they smoke. Everyone has a butt can. Like you used to fucking, or maybe that was me, the fucking coffee can you jack off it.
What?
That's on one of my albums. Oh. Maybe I stole it from Andy or
borrowed. It's a very Grapes of Wrath vibe. Like they're migrant workers friendly. Who never look for work.
Very friendly. At some point in the late afternoon, I hear that scratching of wrought iron, heavy bench. Andy is, for some reason, which I still don't know, and we'll get to you for an answer as you make up one now. He's moved the butt can that was on by the door, and now he's moved it on the other side and moved the...
Dragged it in front of the window. But...
What, get your part of the bench in front of the window? The whole fucking bench is in front of the window. I know...
they're all just setting a little off for the window.
Is this an OCD thing?
I thought it would be better if it was in front of the window.
So it's a feng shui thing.
Well, here's the thing. He only moves it, not even a foot, and moves the ash can on the other side. And I go, what were you doing with the thing? And as Andy does during any podcast you listen to, your mother thing, the thing, just moving in the burr. So I ignore it. Then he lights up a fucking joint with the kowtow trucker couple right next to us with the wind going in their direction and lights up a joint.
Here's what everybody's
hang on,
lighting
I'm not
fires.
Done. The point is, now you have your weed smoke 11 inches closer to the people sitting next to us, and I'm like, is he doing this shit on purpose?
It that way?
He moved it towards the people.
The manager's office,
watching the fucking wind, and
it matters.
Oh my God! Yeah. Well, it might. These are old. Yeah. These are not fucking hippie. These are old crustaceans that are probably Trump voters if they had ID.
And that place probably calls the cops quite a bit.
Legalize it.
Thanks for making a political statement on my dime.
Now, I'm now the smoker's smoker. Like, no, find another Dorwell, because that's not something. If everybody's smoking something that's going to cause cancer, why should we be like, I don't like that scent?
Because yours is illegal, and theirs is not.
And cheese curds are at mini marts here in the state. So, I mean, who's killing who?
Well, you know what? I'm glad you didn't get your dick sucked by any of those women, because the one tonight...
No, those ladies were too old by about a year.
And they,
I mean, I didn't ask for it.
And they were all accompanied.
It's like you're just goofing off at a car wash in the vacuum, and you go, I wonder if that'll get close to my dick, and you wave it around, and then, I mean, blowjob's a strong
Is that
phrasing.
why you wash your car in running shorts?
I'm giving you shit, even though I'm
Dolphin
the one
shorts?
who fucking ate a fucking horrible comedy dick tonight.
No.
Well, you had walkouts.
I mean,
I know.
Hold on.
I guess I didn't. I guess.
Go ahead.
I was out doing blow and getting my dick sucked, so I thought your set went good.
Touch
No,
on
I tried to force a new 15 up front.
Trifecta.
Yeah, I know.
He got blow.
Well, where was
he
the
had a good set.
Oh, yeah.
Someone touched his dick.
I've never done a triple double. I mean, it was probably
this one.
It's like I want to be like grateful. It was part of it was on other people helped out.
It takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village. A village idiot to pass out and fall under a bench and happen.
I don't know if I was just paranoid because it was a weird setup, and we did not even come close to selling out Wausau.
No, you know what it was? There was a mix-up in our numbers.
We can talk business off the air.
No, you just said the number that I told you, that wasn't even close to what we were going to sell. It was all fucked up.
But it's a fucked up venue anyway. Not bad, but it's weird. There's like 3 tiers.
It's an
there's
old cowboy.
People way below you. There's people a little bit above you, and then there's a 3rd tier.
Balcony.
But it's still only a 200 and something seater.
I think Chaille said it best earlier. It was like a dance club that they sold to a comedy club, and they told them you can't make any changes because that's what it was. Yeah,
He did say that. That was a good description.
But it turns out it wasn't a dance club. It was a cowboy bar. And I don't know what the distinction between
line dancing versus
whatever, yeah, and that's what that
the
floor
electric
is.
slide versus the fucking hokey pokey
achy breaky stage.
But
I had so many dated references tonight.
You did say that. It's like, thank you so much because I'm dating myself with everything I say because you were very off script tonight. But at one point,
that's what the point of this tour is,
Exactly.
and I force myself to do that, and it hurts when it fails.
But I knew what you were doing, and you kept saying that I had a frown on my face. But
people kept leaving, and I thought they were going to smoke, which I used to.
They were doing drugs with me.
I used to snap on people because I used to have walkouts back in the day. When people are just there to see comedy, I would have massive walkouts. And when smoking bans started passing, I'd yell at people, "Oh, you can't take it! Fuck you!"
Oh yeah.
And they're just going out to
back
smoke.
five
They're coming
minutes later.
back, and so this time people are leaving, and I just leave it alone, and they don't come back. And someone I was having a repertoire with from the audience, like, "Hey, where's that lady?" This is a callback to she left. Where's her friend? They left.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of people that left. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, you had gotten the obligatory shot sent to the stage or something. I couldn't see because a post in my way. I couldn't see you for part of it. But you got a drink and you said, "Please don't do this. This is it. I'll drink this one, whatever." And then fast forward, it's like you're about 50 minutes in. And Tracy and I are out at the merch booth getting ready, and there's it's a service bar out there. There's nobody there, and you can hear the conversations across this bar, what's going on. And this couple that had walked out, that Tracy said were a walkout, they came back in, and they said, we had a great time. We just got to go. There's a relative thing where we got to get out of here, and throw another shot on that tab for Stanhope. Get him, you know what? Get him too. Get him. And I'm like, just what? And Chase and I look at each other, it's like shaking our heads, going, "Oh God, what do we do?" Because I'm like, should we just?
Well, I realized today that I never do shots.
No.
The Bert cast. Times. Hey, he talked about you again at this moment. Tweet him. Hey, he talked about you. The Bert cast, where he's talking about doing shots. And I drink some beers and I do shots and I do this and that and the
Tito's.
fucking. But I don't do shots because when I switched a few years ago, several
Now.
to mix drinks. To do a shot, what am I going to do a shot of? I'm already drinking liquor. I used to drink beer and do Jägermeister.
That's a good point. You would drink Miller Lights all night long.
Yeah.
Because you knew how to
Jägermeister.
So when they started with the send to, I'm like, this could keep going like an auction, right? So I walk over there. I'm not usually very I don't really have a really good bedside manner sometimes. People they don't like me immediately. That's just a talent.
Less and less.
That's a gift. That's a gift I have. I walk out and I said, "Excuse me for interrupting. If I could just assist you here. Let's not do the shots, the one shot or the two shots. Now is a time I usually take a double whiskey splash of Coke to the stage. And if you would like to buy Mr. Stanhope a drink, might I suggest that?" And it doesn't sound like that to me. That's exactly what I said.
Did you do that?
And they're like,
with that cadence?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm wearing almost the same outfit, just a different color palette than you.
And you have kind of like an old man purple mohawk kind of thing, but not like stand up 80s mohawk.
He still had to ask. It seems like you might know him. And I just turned it and I said, "Thank you for the drink for Mr. Stanhope," and I left. And I left it at that. And that was it. And that's why you got the drink you got instead of the 2 bullets.
I'm not saying, I won't say where, but I'm not sure who I learned this from. It was probably you. No, I don't know, but the dummy shots when people like I don't want to do 30 shots with people after a show, but I tell a waitress.
For the listener, back in the day when people would just show up for comedy, not knowing who they were seeing, but if you were drinking, they would just send you shots to the point they wanted you to die. And
or any week at Coots.
Yeah.
I used to do that too, where for some reason, I was a company man.
Montana was the worst of it, where they just send you like 50 shots. You're like,
you didn't know how to say no, but you wanted the club to make money off of you, so you got booked back. So you'd go send me dummies, make it look.
Yeah.
Which I think that's illegal.
But it's probably illegal, but.
Rarely enforced.
We'll find a person at the bar. Well, look, a bunch of people are going to offer to buy me shots tonight because I was hilarious. And if you just pour a bunch of water in the vodka bottle, I'll just keep sucking them down and playing it up. And I did that on
Madison.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. But thanks for all the shots.
Wait, Madison? What happened?
He told the bartender.
Oh, that's where you were pouring.
I finally got a little loose with the water. I got plenty drunk, even though I wasn't doing shots.
This is where we had that crazy green shirt guy that got ejected. So the bartender says, like, Andy and the bartender is like, "Hey, look, they're gonna start buying me shots. Can we just do water?" She grabbed a bottle out of the trash, a vodka bottle, and filled it full of water, like halfway, right? And then Andy tells me, and I'm like, "Andy, that's really smart. Good for you." Mm-hmm. And then we're at the bar at the end of the show.
I remember
I still black out drunk.
And he grabs, and I'm thinking, this fucking genius, he could drive us home, right? He grabs the bottle from behind the
where's
bar
the keys?
And throws it up, and he's glug, glug. And right then the owner of the bar walks behind the girls, and I'm like, I see that. I'm like, wait, they don't know that he was there. And so I grabbed it and I go, "No, it's fake. He's just..." And then I look at Andy, and Andy
you called him out for being a fake?
Yes, the fucking owner was.
You pull the owner aside. You don't tell the fucking
The owner was walking up wondering what the fuck. He's behind the bar and doing this whole thing. And I look at Andy, and Andy is shithouse drunk.
Yeah.
He was supposed to do the fake shots so he didn't get wasted. He was fucking stumbling drunk.
Even though it was turning down all the free shots I was doing, I was still. Their intent. I did what they wanted. I got fucked up.
She told me, she goes, "Yeah, he's kind of a hard ass. He didn't know we were doing that." And I'm like, "Well, I hope."
Yeah.
Because at one
You
point,
would have to.
I almost thought it was real vodka.
Early on in
I know, I'm
our
an actor.
careers, you would have to, in some gigs, go, listen,
Yeah.
after 3 or 4,
Yeah.
I'll give you the fucking high, because that's all the audience wanted, was to send you shots and watch you fall apart on stage. And I don't blame them. We do that to Inman. By the way,
James
Inman will be on the 29th and the 31st of August this year of our Lord 2017.
And James Inman, in case people don't know, star of your podcast, star of the Unbookable, star
Honestly,
of stage and screen.
I don't know if I've had more requests.
Oh, I know.
For someone.
Inman's told
James
me.
Inman.
Yeah, James has told me. He's like, I'm the most popular guest on the podcast, so that's why they. And it's always a train wreck. So it's always.
You know
fun.
why we can't get guests that will lose their mind and shit their pants easily in Bisbee, Arizona, or on the road anywhere.
Yeah, if you like fluids leaking out, James Inman's your podcast.
So he will be both on the shows in Kansas City at the Improv and the Orient or Asian Theater
Jap
in Denver. Kansas City's the 29th.
Yes.
Denver.
And
31st. Last night of the show. And last night of the tour is the 31st.
And Denver, there might be a very special guest there.
That we have maybe or not probably mentioned on this podcast.
We're gonna.
That got cut.
No, we cut that last podcast, and this is where we're going right now.
Okay. That's
we
right.
tried to do
Sober
a podcast before the show, sober during the afternoon.
I tried to save it by getting really high, but I couldn't do it for everybody.
It just
You didn't try hard enough.
I know. Well,
it was like doing the local news
yeah.
and what happened here and it was all negative. Because I'm not a positive guy. And I go, let's just try to do this and not just shit on everyone we hated. Let's just put this as an addendum. This is the first week of the tour.
Well, how did the last beats of last week's tour end?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We're going to do a wrap-up of the first week of the tour. And we're going to do it positive. Even if it's negative, we're going to do it in a positive fashion rather than shitting on club owners, clubs, anyone.
So you guys both displayed great wrestling skills at the end.
But now you've jumped.
Yeah,
to
that's
the,
all right.
all
No,
right.
that's what I said. Every time we do these, we try to do it chronologically rather than what's fucking
Oh,
important.
how awesome that you went right to the end.
I still have fucking rug burns on my knees from the last night of the first week where Chaille came in at some point and I tried to wrestle him.
Duluth. We were in Duluth.
We were in Duluth and I don't know why.
Didn't
you
Doug
guys were
leap
at
off
a
a
gay
bed?
bar and do you know?
No.
Hang on, Tracy.
Hold on.
Well,
Andy was on acid.
Tracy's going to
Andy
talk.
remembers part of it, but for sure. But I think you were the instigator.
I'm sure I was.
Okay, this is
He
like-
just
Yeah, Ggreg was down in Greco-Roman stance, and you leaped off the bed.
Let's go back to the beginning of that night. Someone gave drugs to Chaille for you that he thought was pot when he was just doing sound checks. And he said, the guy says, hey, here's 120.
Yeah.
This is what Chaille heard. Here's 120 milligrams. Here's as a piece of tinfoil,
Tinfoil.
right?
Yeah.
And
Which can cause dementia.
he looks at it. He sees a gummy. And gummies, edible gummies are a
To me,
thing.
that's weed, man.
Yeah, he thought it was weed. He gave it to me.
So we're walking to the gig, and he gives it to you, and he goes, this is 120 milligrams.
And we're in a breezeway, so that just skips right over my head. Here's some drugs. And
No, it
and
didn't
aluminum.
skip over your head.
Well, he gave me
fucking
some
dumbass.
numbers, and then I thought it was weed. So it's
And
like,
then you went
But
to
even
eat
120 milligrams of weed, that's,
But I
that's quite an amount,
Well-
according to Joey Coco Diaz.
Timestamp. Joey Coco Diaz has been brought up.
Yeah, and
he was talking about I did 1,000 fucking megastars or some shit.
As far as edible weed goes, I can probably get right close to overdosing without it being a problem. But that's why I just ate it, and then I ate the other half. But it was
3 steps later.
They were saying that one of the
they're so small.
One of the Bert casts. He was saying that when Joey was on, Joey had done 1,000 at some point, and then Danish and O'Neill said something like 8 milligrams. Either way, Andy eats half of 120 milligrams, and then before we even get the rest of the jetway, he eats the other half, and you said, that's 120 milligrams. He goes, it ain't my first rodeo.
Yeah.
Well,
It was, actually.
Yeah, cut to the end of the
LSD
show.
rodeo.
It was not pot. And the guy did not say milligrams. He said micrograms of LSD in a gummy bear.
I know what a microcephalic head looks like next to a small head.
Not a
it started getting all squirrely.
Microcephalic?
Yeah,
versus millicephalic.
Those were the old school Zika. That was.
I get off stage. Andy Andrist is tripping his fucking balls off at the merch booth, which I wait. Like, I need 10 minutes to go smoke a cigarette and calm down before I get in behind the booth to sell merch. I need to calm down and get into that headspace of politician, sign shit, take pictures that I beg you not to want.
Let's be positive.
And Chaille says, that weed wasn't weed. Andy's tripping, and I see Andy, and he's just scribbling his name on shit and looking up at the lights.
He had tracers coming out of his pen, he said.
Yeah, there were lights coming out. I mean, it was like one of those fancy ones you'd order.
We need to say this. Andy had a really... Had he wanted to time it, he couldn't have done it better. Because he went up, when we were walking over, we were like 10 minutes from going on stage, which Andy goes up almost immediately. He had a great set that night.
Fucking fantastic.
Came off, and we're standing in the hallway looking at you through that window to the stage, and he goes, that guy didn't say there were like hallucinogens in that weed, did he? And I'm like, no, that's weed. That's weed, dude. And I had no idea. And 2 more times he asked me, it feels like there were hallucinogens in that gummy.
Well, for the record, that was the last show of the first week. So, and we're walking distance a block from the hotel. So Chaille is hammered because, it's our last night and he deserves it for all the work he does. Yet he knows how much I hate the merch booth, and he wants to... Duluth, the place we played, is like the smallest place ever. It's a little tiny bar that... When the show is done, you walk out into a big bar that now has Friday night fucking egghead drunkard people.
The perfect place to trip on acid.
So Chaille's drunk. I don't want to be there at the merch booth, but Chaille does. This is Chaille's moment to shine. Hang on. And he's like, no, I'll take your picture. No, let's try it again. Try it from a different angle. I'm like, Chaille, just get me the fuck out of here. And then he tells me, you're tripping your balls off. I gotta go. It's the end of the week. We get out of it. Go ahead.
No, my plan was to get us out of there, and if I'm taking the pictures, it's because these fuckers don't know how to work their own phone. Okay, that's it. Because they're gonna take multiple pictures, and yes, I was drunk, and we're gonna walk back. But honestly, that was a good show.
It was Duluth. The audience,
people from Canada that came down for the show. How they even found out? Because half the tickets were bought immediately from being on the mailing list.
Yeah,
being in Duluth, and
all of them. Yeah, all of them were bought from the mailing list.
So there were a lot of podcast fans, and it was great. And we set it up, even though it was.
Can I quickly put in before I forget?
Yeah.
And I've been telling audiences this. The reason I'm playing way outside of your city that actually has a sports team is to get this ready to play a major market. I don't have open mic where I live, so I do this out in the fucking bum skirts where they appreciate you rather than you fucking
That's
humps.
why we're not in proper Wausau.
Once I get it ready, we're going across the street.
Yeah,
Get ready, Wausau.
Yeah, we're going to take that other exit.
Fuck you, Rothschild.
Up by the Goodwill.
We're taking a right instead of a left next time.
All right, so
That's not hard to understand, right? That you would work smaller towns and then circle back through later on in the year or next year.
It's not hard for the listener to understand, but comics. No, you just go to the Comedy Cellar fucking 85 times a week for nothing. No, I don't have that kind of longevity
or patience
in my life. I'm talking about life. I probably won't live that long to do 85 sets at the I don't want to hear myself. I don't want to say these things over and over again. I do what I do, you do what you do, and we're good.
We're listening to other podcasts and how positive, and I know you care about your fans or whatever, but I mean, it's like it just seemed like really hollow. It's like people going on about people you should care about, but you don't. I mean, I do enjoy or whatever, but it's like I don't go out and do comedy because I love people laughing. In fact, that's really bothersome a lot of times. And I don't really care about other people.
All of you would just be quiet.
I can't even make the people around me happy, the people who are in my inner life happy, and I don't care about that, but let alone. Anyway, I mean, I love the fans.
As long as you end on a positive note, Andy, it all works out, right?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. I'm going to go around the table.
I got my story from the first week.
Something we liked about
the first week. Again, we played Champaign, DeKalb, Madison, Rochester, Duluth. That was the first 5 days, and Chaille already has... just tell me one fun story. We're going to try to be positive. We're going to be all
positive?
Bill Burr. Everything's good.
Wait, Tommy Rhodes?
All fuck.
We had to go. Positive. We had to go to the in Madison. We had to go to the venue and then turn around really quick and come back and get you guys and then head back there. We took an Uber. We just parked the car because it looked like a weird situation where there'd be no parking, right? And when we came back, I saw this...
At the gig, there was no parking, and at the hotel is downtown, so it's valet parking.
Valet. So we'll just leave the car there, get an Uber real quick. We'll just drive up. It's like right there by the Capitol, so it's like... There's this fucking awesome-looking frontage to this bar.
Cocksucker. That's a closing story, but go ahead. That's the best story of the week.
And I go, Tracy, I bet you... Doug doesn't even know that place is there because I got a text from you. We're in the bar, hotel bar, drinking. And I go, you could see it. If there was a window on the side of that bar, you could see the best
Andy and I were in
joint.
The Holiday Inn or whatever the fuck it was bar.
It was the park.
It wasn't bad.
Hotel.
There was only the two of us. It was empty, and it was a Holiday Inn.
I'll take your word for it because I was blackout drunk.
No. This is early before the show.
Okay. Oh yeah.
They found this place,
right? Okay.
And we made a mental
we are
note.
sitting there having a couple of Manhattans.
So we had to go up really quick, change, come back down like in 20 minutes, and then we had to jet to the place, and then we do the whole show, everything that goes on at Madison, great crowd, and we head back and we go to the tornado room.
Oh my God.
And we go in there.
Bert Kreischer, you would fucking love this place.
Everyone.
Mark.
And they get a lot of comics end up going there.
Bill?
I want to say
Bill Burr.
Nick was it was David Tell.
Hang on. Let me go back to where was it where we went to that spaghetti place. Oh, it's San Jose. Oh fuck, you guys weren't even there. You weren't there.
No, I wasn't.
You weren't there and you weren't there. We've talked about this on a podcast. This place in San Jose where the last time I had dinner with Laura Kimball, may you rest alive in my act. Oh, my God, it's the best. But it's like that.
May she tan in shade.
The fucking tornado room was so much better.
Their late night. This is what I love about the tornado room. The guy.
I'm sorry, he brought up Burr. Burr. The last time I went to that fucking place, Burr,
spaghetti place in San Jose.
Burr, if you can mark this and just say, oh, Stanhope, by the way, the name of that place in San Jose, the spaghetti place, because he was there the week before I was there, and then like Todd Barry was coming in. Don't mark Todd Barry. He's no Brendan Walsh. Go ahead.
What? Oh,
sorry.
The tornado room, they had this policy. Well, okay, it's super low light, like, and the smell of charred steaks was just dripping off everything in there. And that guy was a good bartender, knew how to fucking bartend, wasn't fazed by our old fucking fuddy-duddy drinks. And then...
That's what they sell.
Yeah.
You told me the year it was open. It's 40s or 50s.
I don't know. But it's...
Old neon.
The thing I love about that place, the number one thing, is their late-night menu is fucking awesome. They had the sirloin that we had. We had scallops. I mean, they had the shrimp cocktail. All really good. None of it to go. Because you don't want some fucking assholes walking up with their mesh tank top and their flip-flops coming in, being assholes, waiting for a steak sandwich to die for.
But I staggered up and
I'll get to you, Andy.
And I love that when he explained that, when our bartender explained that to me, I said, that's what makes this place great, is that you have a policy that says, fuck the money, we want this to be a good spot.
You have to understand, we had already done this fucked up show in Madison where like a guy got fucking tased and just a bunch of bullshit. Not during the show. We heard about this after.
It's a new part of the act.
And yeah,
I got blackout drunk because I hate violence.
Well, that's what happened.
Water.
We get back. This tornado place, the Tornado Lounge, is
tornado room
right beside our hotel. So you're fucked up. Andy's so fucked. You bring him up to the room, lay him down. Do you remember his quote?
He went.
You'd be surprised.
He went into our bathroom and duck walked across when he realized it wasn't his bathroom. With his pants down, and then he fucking fell down on the bed. And I go, perfect. This is great. We'll close that chapter. And I look in there, and he opens his eyes, and I go, hey Andy, maybe it's just good to call it a night. And he goes, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, and he were, too.
And we left.
But this is after the show. This is Madison, Wisconsin, which is the capital.
We are at the capital.
I'm already... Like, anytime I hear, like, New York comics go, yeah, and then we went out to dinner at fucking 10 p.m., I'm like, what restaurant do you know is open at 10 p.m.? Because the markets I work, the fucking Taco Bell is closed at 10 p.m. and I ate Pop-Tarts out of a vending machine. So what the fuck? So this is like after midnight where you tell me you drove me by it on the way to the gig and I'm like, oh my God, just the neon, the old neon on the outside.
The window.
It's like Mad Men still alive. And it's not a facade. It's it's been open that long.
4 deep booths.
So you guys come back from dropping Andy in bed. We go in there, and it is that era. Nothing has changed. And wearing the suits that we wear, we shuffle in there like we were the original owners. And within short time, someone from the show, which the show was like 20 minutes away. It's not like we went.
Yeah.
It's not next door.
No.
I'm like, no one's going to fucking know me in this place. I can't believe it's still open. The bar's open? Oh, no. The restaurant is open, too. We get these giant shrimp cocktails. Then some people at the bar recognize me in a suit that belongs in this bar. And they go, oh, we were at your show. And then the wait staff goes, oh, the guy, so I'm in the back in the kitchen. No one recognizes me ever. And like Bert Kreischer said in one of the podcasts, I love it when people recognize you out of school where it's not going to be some fucking...
At the bar where you just perform.
Yeah. So I'm in the back. The fucking guy that's cooking steaks is posing for pictures.
Oh, is that where you went? You
Yeah.
left for a while, yeah.
Yeah, they asked me to come back.
You're on the line?
It was fucking
Hey,
great.
You want to take the tongs a little bit, Stanhope?
Like, just the fact that anyone serves food at this hour in the most incredible place. And then I ordered shrimp cocktail, and then we smelled steak, and I'm like, we should get a steak. Just let's get a steak. We get a steak.
Oh, got a steak.
And
you fucking got a steak.
Then I'm sitting in the limelight, and I look over through the big picture window, and there's Andy.
Like, surprise.
Stumble.
I told you you'd be
surprised. I don't even know how he knew to go down that street. Because that was a 5-way.
It was
Andy
by
got
default.
thrown out of
I got kicked out of at least 2 bars, but I was pretty blackout, so there could have been a third one. I just remember all this negativity.
The opposite of this podcast.
Yeah.
He was trying to find us. He kept going into bars around
and
that
they go,
area.
whoa, like, yeah, one of them was like, I was like a fucking airplane trying to land on the wrong runway, fucking waving lights and shit. And, I didn't even say, hey, how you doing? Or could I get a cocktail? No, like, discrimination. I got a disease. And
they said cool. they said you can't come back in here or something.
Yeah,
they accused you of being there earlier.
That's what
I don't know, but I know I saw him out of my peripheral vision because we had the front seat at the bar, and I go, "That's Andy. Hang on, what? Okay, I'll be."
Yeah, it was like
you whipped right by us.
This is a guy who played for the Dodgers, the first black guy. So I would have felt like I was denied from going into multiple places, and then I run into a few teammates, and they vouch for me, and I sit down.
I did. I walked out and I said, Andy, and he was going. There was a
not
bar
only
next
was I
door.
welcome, they served me. I think
there was a bar next door that you were heading towards because you could see it was a bar.
Oh,
with
that was an
line.
Irish bar. Yeah.
And I said, Andy, I saw him
there.
Thank God. And he came back, and I stopped him at the door of the Tornado, and I said, "You got to get your shit together."
Yeah.
Don't say anything because you're obviously drunk. I will get you.
Well, that's what everybody was saying. That's exactly what
I had to talk you down.
The consensus was.
I should have ran into you first.
Or just stayed in bed. Either way.
I know. I don't. I want to meet Blackout Me sometime because I think we should sit down and have a meeting because we should get on the same page.
I've been at that meeting.
Yeah, it's chaotic and
it seems like it'd be fun.
At this point, I've already made my bones, as they might say. Everyone knows me, so you're kind of good. I think I told you that probably.
Yeah. Did I eat?
Yes, actually, you ate a lot of my
Wow.
food because I can't. I need 2 pieces of steak, but
You
it
had
takes me.
one bite of that steak. I was surprised because it was.
But it
so
smelled
fucking
so good.
Oh my god!
It takes me so long to chew it with so few back teeth.
As blackout drunk as I get, I sort of have a good survival instinct, except for when I blacked out before the Coke arrived that one time. It's like, I usually wake up. It's like there's something I need to get up for, stagger around.
All right, I think you're going to admit to things from years ago. So let's move on.
It was the last tour.
To
it was a week ago. It was a week ago. There was a wrestling match in between.
This perfect old-fashioned Mad Men steakhouse. I get you sequestered. You're sitting down, behaving yourself.
Fuck yeah,
Everyone
I'm a good man.
is happy. I go out to smoke a cigarette in front of the Tornado. That's our fucking
Tornado
sponsor
room.
for this. The
Did
Tornado
stagger
room.
out with weed.
Hang on.
Oh no.
No, you know the story. You don't remember it.
He doesn't remember eating a magnificent steak. How's he going to remember what you're going to tell
No,
us?
it's the fucking smell of it. I already ate a giant shrimp cocktail. Like giant shrimp. Like attack you shrimp.
Colossal, I believe.
I go out to listen to this. I go out to smoke a cigarette, and I'm standing there, and it's the diagonal meter parking in front, and there's a GMC. I remember it was a GMC, kind of like a Tahoe, but whatever a GMC version was, and not a new one. And so I'm standing in front of it, and there's a widescreen television set facing towards me from the back seat. Like it's taking up the entire back seat.
It's like 48 inches. It's not a little thing.
Yeah.
It's not a computer screen.
And there's a dude, an old dude, sitting in the front seat alone. And I'm staring at this. It's very close. It's not an aberration. I did not get dosed with LSD like Andy did in Duluth. But I was drunk. But Andy was drunker. So you guys know, the listener, how
Drunk
that
cop,
feels.
Drunk cop.
When someone's drunker than you feel sober. Oh, I could drive. And Andy's barely standing up. And I stopped a couple people on the street. I go, hey, I don't want to be weird, but is that a dude with a TV that's playing towards us?
Flat screen.
Yeah, in a parked car at a meter. And yeah, that's weird. And then I went down to that bar Andy was headed towards. I go, hey, I don't want to bother you, but could you just look at this?
You can see it from...
That's a dude. It's like what you would think would maybe a homeless dude, but the car's not that old, but it's not that new. And he has a widescreen, full-color TV playing towards him that he must be watching through the rearview mirror.
It was playing towards the front, and he was
in the front seat. Yeah, you're right. That's fucked up. Like people that thought I was a homeless person because it's that kind of neighborhood.
They did that to me when I went in that bar.
Well, Chaille, I didn't know, doesn't smoke. He was inside the restaurant watching the same thing.
But it was like...
It's his cable?
Like, I'm trying to figure out what... Like, why would someone be doing that? Because he kept turning, like he was turning from the front seat driver's position. He was turning around, looking over his shoulder, and then flipping the channels. Do you remember what he was watching?
No,
CSI Miami. David Caruso. Why are you watching CSI Miami?
In your rearview mirror. It's the fucking weirdest thing.
Stakeout.
Maybe one day we get to fucking Douglas, Thax Douglas. A weirder story. That's a weirder story we're not going to get to. But this guy, so after the third time I had, look at this.
Random people.
The guy just... It's like, oh, wait. Oh, you have the password to my hard drive? I wasn't looking at nothing. He sped off.
Oh, I wonder why he left, because the show wasn't over.
You're watching his TV through the window of the best Madman bar. All right. Did we kill it? Was it this? I don't know.
We're at the 12-hour mark on this podcast. The 12... But I mean,
there's a lot of shit. Yeah. But we'll leave the negative alone.
Okay, I'll shut up then.
We did that sober podcast early, and it was just
fuck
that guy.
Yeah,
whenever the green shirt guy, fuck him.
Yeah, whenever we're like we should be like we're sober and like we're sober, and then we're just such pricks.
Yeah, hey, if you were at a show on this tour and some fucking new owner chased you down when you were in a blackout drunk because he wouldn't just let you fucking leave. He needed to take your keys and chase you 3 blocks and tase you and then come back and tell Chaille and I different stories. I would love to hear from you because I think maybe that guy was a prick. All right. Well,
I got a couple of plugs. If you ask to see somebody's penis, that doesn't mean you should suckle it. And if you're going to give out drugs, label them. Okay, and I'll be in Funny Bone somewhere. I hope.
This was Madison as well. Chaille comes out. We're doing mobile green room where we go, fuck the green room. That's black mold and. Ask anyone who knows me if I'm afraid for my health, it's a problem. But there was some flooding issues in the basement green room.
I'm kind of the parakeet.
The canary.
Canary. You put me
Yeah,
down. I started gagging, puking, and that means there's Black Death.
It was uncontrollable. You could not stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when you went back up above ground. Yeah, that was bad.
This
Bad
night,
gag.
Mobile green room means we sit in the van by a fire exit rather than be in the green room where I can't smoke or Andy can't control his gag reflex. So we're sitting out there drinking and smoking in the van, and Chaille says, listen, there's a couple that came to the show. You're going to notice them because they stick out like a sore thumb. This is kind of a punk rocky club. And this, fuck it, let's say elderly. They're not listening.
Octogenarians, I'd say.
Old fucking people. Well, Chaille had found out when he sat them or had them sat or someone sat them that their son had bought them tickets because he's living in Africa, but he wanted an autograph, so he sent his parents like fucking point men in Vietnam in a hot fucking zone. And you told me that, and I didn't see them because of lights from stage, but at some point in the set, I remembered you told me, and I'm looking for it, and then I saw them, and I go, oh, you must be that kid's parents. And I fucked with them because when you fuck with people that are, it's a Def Jam thing. Oh, we got white people here. Oh, white people, you probably feel out of sort. And they go, ah, and everyone, oh, they're talking about me. I no longer feel like I will be killed because they're talking about me. And that's what I did to them. The kid emailed me.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
He's in Kenya, Africa, studying biology, plant viruses or something. He said it sucks, but he loves black women with big asses, but he can't wait to get home. But thank you for fucking with my parents, and I hate it here. And he said, what exactly did you say to my parents? Because they're kind of... He didn't say brain dead, but they're old.
Earplugs in the whole time.
Said my mother was really amused, but my dad not so much.
Not a smile the whole time.
He looked like Mike Pence. I remember saying that about him.
With better hair. He had thick hair, like
either way,
matinee idol.
He asked me what I said. I said I don't remember. I'll bring it up on the podcast and hope someone else remembers.
That wasn't his mom that I met tonight. That'd be awkward.
All right. I gotta go put salve on my rug burns on my knees from wrestling Chaille on the last night.
Yeah.
I thought we started with that.
I mentioned it.
We never...
Well, when I was coming down from my LSD...
I started with
trip.
it.
That's true.
Brushed over.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it started, but Ggreg was was in the wrestling mat zone, and then Doug leaped off his bed like a superhero that was aged.
He lunged at me.
Yeah,
I was only wearing underpants and a t-shirt. Chaille was fully dressed. I tried to tow bar that cocksucker.
Right before I started this tour, my dog was attacked by two bigger dogs.
And
don't
what it looked
You're
like.
not doing it. You're not doing it.
But one nudged him, and then the other attacked.
The first gig was in Champaign, Illinois, and Andy tries to riff a bit, and Andy has bits he's done for 20 years. He can't quite get right, but he can make them funny.
Yeah.
But that night he tried to do a new bit, and he dropped the fucking N-bomb 5 times in the first night of the tour. 4 times in 5 minutes.
It's like trying to fix a gunshot wound with another gunshot.
Yeah.
You just kept going,
and no one knows what you're talking about.
No one was following.
I go, oh, this is going to set the tone.
I was talking about my dog.
I'm not.
I call my dog anyway. I can't.
Hey, here's another thing we're not going to talk about is the fucking dude that got drug out of the fucking DeKalb show for filming where I wouldn't do the last sentence of my show, and I go, oh. We did this in Oklahoma City to a chick that was just a heckler, but this dude was filming, and I go, I'm not doing the fucking last sentence.
The OKC thing was
let's just kill it. I'm tired of talking about it.
It was a little
I'll tell it to
but
Bert Kreischer. Mark this.
If we can ever get him on a podcast again, you guys should talk about it.
You know what would help is if you didn't travel with all the fucking hippies. You know? It's like a gypsy carnival. Just a bunch of fucking dope.
Close this out already.
We're done. We're done.
A piss.
Yeah, we're done, and you don't have to edit, so you can just put this out right now.
Okay,
just put it out right now.
It's already done.
There's nothing.
They're listening right now.
You know what? He's gonna clouse out to just the end of the podcast rather than I'm gonna stay up for 5 hours and figure out how to put fucking Bird Cloud. Bird Cloud and Mishka are out of the country. And you know what? You don't need people to leave this country. It's America. Bye.
And let me just plug Andy Anderson, who's the character we were talking about, not really me.